The genius young man Chen Fei was exiled to a frontier mining site due to his fiancée's demotion, but upon his return, he happened to be in time for his former best friend and fiancée's grand wedding. By chance, he obtained the inheritance of the emperor of the wilderness god and used the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron as his elixir. He practiced the wilderness god slaying the heavenly mantra, summoned 18 ancient flood and wilderness divine beasts, wielded divine weapons, and practiced secret techniques. From then on, he embarked on the path of revenge and gradually became the strongest under the starry sky. Those who abandon me cannot stay. A gentleman seeks revenge, sees the day and night. Chapter 1. Friendship by Cutting the Neck. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tianhe City, Luo family. At this moment, the entrance of the Luo family was crowded with people, and from time to time, there were waves of sighs and mockery. And what they are concerned about is the young man holding a long sword at the door. A lone sword, covered in dust and wind. Chen Fei was panting fiercely, staring closely at the piercing, she character on the door. Luoning, come out. The voice is suppressed, like a sick lion roaring in pain. Who is this young man? How dare he cause trouble in the Luo family? Asked a passerby. A mocking voice rang out, are you from another city? This is the second young master of the Chen family. He used to be a big mountain above the young generation of Tianhe City, but now. A guilty person, a waste, a joke. What's a joke? Another person said, 3 days later, it will be the day for Chen Fei's fiancée and his good brother to have a wedding. The door of the Luo family finally opened. What came out was not Chen Fei's fiancée Luo Ning, but his former best brother Yang Zhao. The young lord of Tianhe City. At this moment, Yang Zhao was dressed in a white robe, riding his battle beast, a two-headed tiger, with a majestic aura, in sharp contrast to the destitute Chen Fei. Yang Zhao, you bastard. Chen Fighting stabbed his sword, but it was easily grasped by Yang Zhao with his fingers. Fei Gu, it's been a long time since we last met. Do you give this kind of greeting to my younger brother on his first day back? After speaking, Yang Zhao suddenly exerted force in his hand, and the light flickered. Surprisingly, he broke the sword in Chen Fei's hand in half. Finger-shattering sword. Chen Fei was shaken by the anti-seismic force and couldn't help but take a few steps back. I looked at the broken sword in my hand with a sense of desolation. A year ago, Chen Fei was still the first young person in Tianhe City. Who in Tianhe City could break the sword in his hand? Even the older generation of strong men couldn't do it. But because he offended the young prince of the Thunder Prince's mansion in the capital city of the Zhangyan Empire, he was deposed of his dantian and killed his companion war beast. He was also charged with an unfounded crime and punished to serve his sentence and mine at the Ghost King mine. This time, it was a special approval from the mine to go home and visit relatives. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered the Heavenly Fire City, I heard the news of my fiancée's wedding 3 days later. And the groom turned out to be his best brother, Yang Zhao. Chen Fei, a year ago you instructed me to take good care of Luoning. I did not disappoint your expectations. Luoning was taken care of very well by me and I am always happy. After speaking, he added another sentence in Chen Fei's ear. Whether it's day or night. Yang Zhao. Chen Fei couldn't bear this kind of stimulation. He had been engaged to Luoning for 5 years and had never touched her before, but now he was with one punch, it was unexpectedly grabbed by Yang Zhao again. Chen Fei's eyes were bloodshot, and he gritted his teeth in a resentful voice, saying, Yang Zhao, you and I are neck-cutting friends. So I love for you the people you can't love. In the next moment, Yang Zhao's hand suddenly shone brightly, and a bone-shattering sound echoed throughout the room. Chen Fei's arm had already been twisted by Yang Zhao. Brothers are like limbs, today this hand is broken. He kicked Chen Fei out with one kick, but Chen Fei didn't make a sound and just stared at Yang Zhao's ugly face. Your mouth is harder than your bones. Chen Fei, don't overestimate yourself. I have just glimpsed the 8th level. As an ordinary person, how can you fight me? How majestic were you, Chen Fei, back then? Have you ever thought about what you are today? The two-headed tigers suddenly darted out, and just as Chen Fei was about to get up, their claws slapped him directly on the ground. Chen Fei then spewed out a mouthful of blood. And Yang Zhao, who had always been aloof, finally flipped over and whispered in Chen Fei's ear, "Do you really think I used to treat you like a brother?" Chen Fei, only I, Yang Zhao, can be a genius in Tianhe city. I not only want to take away your woman, but also all your pride. Pup, Yang Zhao raised his hand and picked up Chen Fei's broken sword, then inserted his backhand into Chen Fei's already broken right arm. This sword has already broken the tendons and veins of Chen Fei's right arm. Chen Erye's martial arts and sword skills are unparalleled. I see how you will continue to wield your sword in the future and how to wield your fist. Even as a mortal, Yang Zhao didn't want Chen Fei to be better off. This is the price you just paid for taking action against the future lord. Chen Fei's sleeves fluttered, and a word, Sin, appeared on his right arm, which was the tracking array of the Ghost King mine. With this array, Chen Fei could not escape. That's also why there were no guards following during this visit. Look at the word, Sin, on your arm. Why do you deserve to be in Luoning? A person who feels guilty can only be a worm in the stinky mud in this lifetime. You are not worthy of Luoning, and your Chen family is even less worthy of the Luo family. After finishing all of this, Yang Zhao flipped over and headed towards the Luo mansion, saying, "Go back to your Ghost King mine and be your sinner. Go." Chen Fei stood up with difficulty. Even though he had just suffered that humiliation, he never begged for mercy. "Yang Zhao, won't you kill me?" His voice was filled with hatred. "You don't deserve it." Yang Zhao too didn't know either. He. Chen Fei stared at Yang Zhao's back and said, "Yang Zhao, I Chen Fei went blind. I have recorded everything for today." The onlookers couldn't help but shout, "It's all up to this point. What else are you pretending to be? You should remember the grace of the young lord not to kill. That's right, listen to people's advice to eat enough and don't embarrass yourself here. Miss Luoning has made it to the list of beauties in the Zhangyan Empire, and the young city lord is even more talented. The two are a perfect match for both men and women. Besides, you're still a waste, a prisoner." Suddenly, a voice rang out in the crowd. He couldn't really have escaped, could he? That's causing great trouble for the Chen family. How could the Chen family have such a scumbag like him? Yang Zhao couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth as he listened to these sounds. He suddenly stopped and turned around, saying, "By the way, there's one more thing. You asked me to help you bury your battle beast, the purple flame lion. I couldn't bear it. After all, the lion still had some meat, but unfortunately the lion meat wasn't delicious, even the dogs didn't like it." After speaking, he walked directly into the door of the Luo family. Upon hearing this, Chen Fei spat out a mouthful of blood and said, "Yang Zhao." Bang! The sound of closing the door was even more piercing than a slap in the ear. Inside the gate of the Luo mansion, a guard suddenly asked, "Uncle, won't you kill him?" "No need, it's not more fun to let him live like a dog." Outside the door, Chen Fei looked at the vermilion door, and the hatred in his eyes seemed to turn into drops of blood, which was even more unbearable than when he was framed by the Thunder Prince's mansion a year ago. Betrayal from the most trusted person is the most deadly. Not only that, on this day, Chen Fei completely went from the myth of Tianhe City to a joke. The Chen family has also become a laughing stock along with them. Finally, Chen Fei could no longer hold on and spat out another mouthful of blood. "Those who abandon me cannot stay." Then he fainted straight away. No one noticed that a faint and imperceptible light shot into Chen Fei's eyebrows from his arms. After an unknown amount of time, there was a wave of chaos in my mind. Chen Fei slowly opened his eyes, but everything in front of him made him completely dumbfounded. In front of me was a chaos, a sea of stars, but there was no trace of life in this sea of stars. Dead silence. Defeated. Come here. A voice sounded, but the simple two words seemed to carry the sound of the great road. Chen Fei finally saw clearly that there was a figure floating in the midst of the shattered stars in the distance. Compared to the stars in the sky, his body was so small. But he stood there as if it were the center of the world. Raising his hand and waving his sword, a beam of sword light transformed into a Milky Way, leading straight to Chen Fei's feet. After hesitating for a moment, Chen Fei still took a step forward. Almost instantly, Chen Fei arrived behind that figure. Who is the person in the painting, senior? Chen Fei's heart was shaken. Not long ago, while mining at the Ghost King mine, he accidentally dug up a painting. The painting shook Chen Fei's mind. In the sea of stars, 18 pitch-black dragons carried a large cauldron, and on the cauldron stood a man who looked down at the sky, raising his hand to destroy the stars. At this moment, the attire of the person in front of them is almost identical to that of the person in the painting. You are clever, I am the Emperor of the Wilderness God. The sound shook the world, and as soon as this word was spoken, all the dilapidated stars around trembled. The Emperor of the Wild God suddenly turned around and grabbed Chen Fei. Chen Fei never considered resisting at all. If this kind of existence wants to kill himself, why waste so much effort? In an instant, the stars moved around, and scenes flashed before Chen Fei's eyes. He saw a prosperous era. Divine beasts dance and roam in the air, while immortals rise up with swords. In the next moment, the hand of the Emperor of the Wasteland God was released, and the surroundings were once again restored to a state of silence and destruction. What you just saw is the original appearance of this place. Who did this? Chen Fei was shocked. People outside of this universe, if there is a disaster from heaven, I will go to conquer the heavens. A boundless and domineering aura was released from the body of the desolate God Emperor. What you see is nothing more than a clone of me left behind in this world. The place where I am fighting is at risk of death. If I die in battle, the entire universe will become like this sea of stars, including the place where you live. Chen Fei was greatly shocked in his heart, as it was simply too advanced for him. So I want to choose an inheritor and pass on my path. Chen Fei was taken aback and pointed to himself, You're not talking about me, are you? Did the big pie just hit me in the head like this? Learn from your teacher. Is it so direct? Pounce. In the next moment, before Chen Fei could react, a wave of pressure came and directly crushed him to the ground, forcing him to buy and sell. Isn't it okay for this master not to bow down? At first glance, the Emperor of the Wasteland God in front of him was a great figure, which was definitely a great opportunity for himself. However, Chen Fei had some doubts about what the Emperor of the Wasteland God said about attacking the heavens. Is there a world beyond the sky? This can't be a fraud prodigy, can he? Do you disrespect me? The Emperor of the Wild God casually pressed on Chen Fei's right arm, and a warm light enveloped it. His right arm had previously been injured and had miraculously healed. Just a miracle. No, Master is here. Disciple Chen Fei pays respects to Master. From today on, you are the only disciple recognized by my God of the Wild Emperor. I am aware of your past experiences and have become my disciple. There is one truth you must remember. A gentleman seeks revenge, sees the day and night. Chen Fei thought of Prince Lei's mansion, Yangzhou, and Luoning. Your elixir field has been abandoned. As a teacher, I could have helped you repair it, but it's not necessary. If I continue to practice according to the method of mortals as my disciple, it would be too mediocre. Chen Fei's heart is beating faster. With a wave of his hand, the Emperor of the Wilderness once again saw a picture of a large cauldron surrounded by various wild beasts. I saw waves of misty light emanating from the large cauldron, absorbing all the divine beasts and monsters into the cauldron. This cauldron is my treasure. I have created a world within it, but that world has not yet taken shape. As a teacher, I have no time to continue refining. I will pass it on to you today. Be your elixir. Using Ding as the elixir field. This completely overturned Chen Fei's perception. Dantian is the fundamental source of spiritual energy in the body. This cauldron contains the power of creation, which will automatically absorb the spiritual energy from heaven and earth, and continuously give back the spiritual energy from the cauldron to you. Chapter 2. Tianhuang Ding, Heavenly Slaying Mantra. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Emperor of the Wilderness continued, I have been a teacher for many years and have conquered countless strong ones. There are a total of 18 divine beasts in this cauldron, known as the Great Wilderness Beasts. In the future, as your cultivation gradually improves, you can control these 18 divine beasts for your use. To control 18 divine beasts of the wilderness. Chen Fei suddenly thought of a possibility. The world he is in has a unique cultivation system. The cultivation realm of a cultivator is clear, and the most basic one is the first glimpse of the 9th level. After the first glimpse, they are respectively building the sea, opening the spirit, integrating knowledge, and understanding the treasure. Before Chen Fei was deposed, he was already a cultivator in Tianhe realm, and at this age, he was incredibly talented. At the beginning of the 5th level, there is an opportunity to summon battle beasts. The cultivator will spawn a space of their own battle beast and summon a battle beast of their own. These war beasts can not only fight independently, but also integrate with cultivators. Moreover, war beasts and their masters can cultivate and achieve each other together, and the talent of war beasts largely determines the master's future cultivation limit. The level of war beasts is divided into 4 levels according to the heaven and earth dark yellow from high to low. Previously, Chen Fei summoned a high-level battle beast, the purple flame lion, but was killed by someone sent by the Thunder King. As for the heavenly warcraft, the Tianhe Empire has never appeared before. It is said that once those sky-level war beasts grow up, they can overturn mountains and seas with just one strike. The only celestial battle beast that Chen Fei knew about was the legendary dragon. Thinking of the 18 black dragons carrying giant cauldrons in the previous painting, Chen Fei blurted out, "Are those 18 giant dragons in the cauldron?" Unexpectedly, the Emperor of the Wilderness shook his head and said, "No. They don't deserve to enter the cauldron. The existence in the cauldron is far more terrifying than theirs. More terrifying than a giant dragon." Chen Fei couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Isn't that beyond the sky level? The Emperor of the Wilderness seemed to see Chen Fei's thoughts and snorted lightly, "Heavenly level. I'm not even worthy of carrying a tripod for me." Chen Fei's heart skipped a beat, surpassing the heavenly level by several levels. Is that the divine level? Or holy level? Not to mention that Tianhe Empire, there has never been a record of the entire southern Shenzhou. If one of these 18 divine beasts can be used as his companion battle beast, why not take off directly? Sure. The Emperor of the Wilderness smiled faintly. You can enter into a companion contract with the guy in the cauldron, but I want to remind you that not all of them are good beings. If you summon a fierce character, even your world will be destroyed. And with your current cultivation level, it's not certain whether they are willing or not. Chen Fei smiled bitterly. The world in this cauldron is evolving and requires the support of the original power of 18 divine beasts, so you cannot summon these 18 divine beasts at the same time. Only with the continuous strengthening of this cauldron can the divine beasts inside be continuously released. There are 18 clusters of world fires in the cauldron, representing 18 seals. Each cluster of flames ignited represents that you can summon one of the divine beasts for your use. Sealing has gone from weak to strong, and now you can only open the weakest path. When all the fires of the 18 clusters of the world are lit up, it means that the evolution of the world in the cauldron is complete, and then you will be the ruler of that world. Sure enough, Chen Fei vaguely saw a cluster of flames flickering in the cauldron. I forgot to tell you, this cauldron is called Heavenly Wilderness. This ding has a natural restraining effect on all demon beasts, especially on the dragon clan bloodline. Chen Fei's lips slightly curved upwards, as he thought that the reason why the Thunder Prince's mansion was so arrogant was because their family's inherited battle beast was the Thunder Dragon. A war beast with ancient dragon bloodline. This revenge seems to have to be avenged. The Emperor of the Wilderness continued, the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron can devour demon beasts. Every time it devours a demon beast, it will feedback its power to you. At the same time, this is also the advanced method of Tianhuang Ding. Chen Fei's eyes lit up. He wouldn't think this was an evil law. There are no weapons of good or evil in the world, only good and evil people. Besides the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron, I have another set of martial arts techniques to pass on to you. The techniques you previously practiced are simply rubbish. After speaking, he pointed out that segments of scriptures had already been ringing in Chen Fei's mind. The curse of the wilderness god slaying heaven. Practice well, otherwise you will be looked down upon by the guy in the cauldron. Chen Fei suddenly felt embarrassed. The main body of the teacher is no longer in this universe. This clone sits at the boundary of the universe and cannot help you too much. We must leave some means to save your life. Chen Fei understood that he was afraid of dying before he could grow up. Chen Fei was overjoyed and quickly said, "Thank you, master, disciple." A quaint bracelet appeared in the palm of the Emperor of the Wilderness. Take it. Chen Fei put on his bracelet and suddenly felt a piercing pain in his right arm. Ah! Chen Fei's painful cries echoed in the starry sea. Even though he had been shattered by Yang Zhao before, Chen Fei never shouted a word. Spells rushed out of the bracelet as if they had come to life, climbing onto Chen Fei's entire right arm. Finally everything calmed down. Chen Fei gasped and looked at his right arm. Your right arm has been transformed by me, and within my flesh and blood, I have engraved the Master's formation. You can call it the God's right hand. Chen Fei looked and found that the word sin on his arm had disappeared. Alright, that's all for now. Without my summoning, don't come to me. I can't be too distracted as a clone. Looking for you. How to find it? Wait a moment. Chen Fei quickly asked his doubts, Master, why did you choose me? Upon hearing these words, the Emperor of the Wilderness stared closely at Chen Fei with a deep meaning in his eyes. Chen Fei's heart twitched, wondering if he was the reincarnation of some heavenly god. At least unparalleled geniuses can't run away. At this moment, I heard the Emperor of the Wild God say, do you believe that I randomly selected it? Chen Fei. The next moment, the Emperor of the Wild God waved his hand, and Chen Fei had already drifted out. Watching Chen Fei's disappearing figure, the Emperor of the Wild God's eyebrows gradually relaxed. Then, with a deep sigh in his eyes, he turned around again and faced the endless universe with a hint of determination in his eyes. Chen Fei's eyes turned black again, and he fainted again. When he woke up again, he had already returned to a room with simple furnishings. Looking at the familiar stitches on the quilt, Chen Fei knew he had returned to the Chen family. Where did you come back from? At the entrance of Luo's house. Was it all dreams before? Quickly raising his hand, Chen Fei took a deep breath and wore an antique bracelet on his right wrist. The whole body is black, with only one character, Wild, on the bracelet. There is no bandage on the arm. It seems that before the Chen family retrieved him, the arm had already been cured by the Emperor of the Wild God. Did you change your destiny against the heavens? Chen Fei instinctively clenched his right fist. Suddenly, there was an explosive roar and a terrifying force, with a strand of spiritual energy flowing on the right arm. Spiritual energy. Quickly check himself, Chen Fei was so excited that he almost jumped up and got a glimpse of the second level. He actually restored his cultivation. Inside the Dantian, amidst chaos, a quaint cauldron floats and sinks. A cluster of flames flickered in the cauldron. This means that Chen Fei can already summon the weakest divine beast as his own battle beast, but he needs to wait until his cultivation reaches the 5th level of the first glimpse. Just as Chen Fei wanted to activate his spiritual energy, the door suddenly opened. Mother. A haggard-looking woman stood at the door and quickly rushed over when she saw Chen Fei. She hugged Chen Fei in her arms. "Fei, I miss you so much." This woman is Chen Fei's mother, named Mei Yuan, and Chen Fei's father died in battle a few years ago. It can be said that Chen Fei has become Mei Yuan's only reliance. "Let my mother see, I've lost weight, haven't I endured hardship this year?" Mei Yuan's eyes were filled with tears. Chen Fei smiled and said, "No pain, no pain." Chen Fei knows some advanced medical skills. By chance, he saved the life of General Lu Ming at the Ghost King mine, so in reality, Chen Fei did not suffer much this year. If it weren't for this relationship with Lu Ming, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to come back and visit his family. Originally intended to serve 10 years in prison, now it should be 3 years. Chen Fei had originally planned to tell Luoning the good news when he returned this time, but unexpectedly, he received a bloody, sheet word. Mei Yuan gently touched Chen Fei's hair and then said, "I know about Luoning. You must have a heart for her. She came to find me. People walk higher, water flows lower." That's her original words. Chen Fei's expression was gloomy. In fact, the reason why he was sent to the Ghost King mine was entirely to protect Luoning. A year ago, you offended the young prince of the Thunder Prince's mansion for the sake of Luoning, which gave you the current situation. Now that she treats you like this, it's hard for me to calm my heart. Mei Yuan still harbors resentment towards Luoning. Wiping away her tears, Mei Yuan forced a smile. "In the future, my mother doesn't want you to be a genius. It's good to be safe. My mother cooked congee for you, and I will bring it to you." After finishing speaking, he pushed the door open and left. "Luoning, I will let you know that you made the wrong choice." After speaking, Chen Fei immediately began to comprehend the wilderness god slaying the heavenly mantra. The temptation of retraining was too great for him, he couldn't wait for a moment. After studying for a long time, Chen Fei found it difficult to let his spiritual energy circulate for a week, only releasing it on his right arm. "Do we need to activate the Tianhuang ding first?" Just as Chen Fei was about to activate the Tianhuang ding, a burst of noise suddenly came from outside. Let that trash come out, wouldn't he just hide behind an old woman? Chen Chong. Chen Fei had already recognized who the person was, it was his cousin, who was the grandson of the second elder. There are 4 people in Chen Fei's generation who were born in the same year as him. Chen Yi, Chen Fei, Chen Chong, and Chen Tian. It means, soaring to the sky. This Chen Chong used to be a follower of himself, with average talent, but he had a knack for adapting to the changing circumstances. "Chonger, your brother is currently resting. Later." "Fuck you. Is he also worthy of being my brother?" Mei Yuan's words were interrupted before she could finish, and at the same time, there was a sound of porcelain shattering. Chen Fei pushed the door and rushed out. The scene before him made his eyes spew fire. His mother was pushed to the ground by Chen Chong, and congee was sprinkled on the side, which is my favorite lean congee. "Mother." Chen Fei quickly helped up his mother. Chen Chong snorted and said, "Yo, isn't this a shame on my Chen family? You're really back, you trash." Chen Fei looked coldly at Chen Chong and said, "Do you dare to push my mother?" "Chen Chong, she is your aunt." "Auntie." "Chen Fei, I recognize her as my aunt, but I don't recognize her. She's nothing. Don't forget, when your mother was young, she was a brothel prostitute." Bang, Chen Fei suddenly rushed over and punched Chen Chong in the face. Chapter 3. Licking Clean. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chen Chong covered his bleeding nose with anger in his eyes. Chen Fei, you've turned the tables. How dare you hit this young master? Someone, please depose him for me. The 5 guards who followed Chen Chong glanced at each other and rushed towards Chen Fei together. I see who dares. Chen Fei let out a furious shout, which scared all 5 guards. Chen Fei was not only the first genius of Tianhe City in the past, but also the revered Chen of the younger generation in Tianhe City. At that time, Chen Fei not only had strong strength, but also had a cold temper. Many people in Tianhe City had been beaten by Chen Fei. Waste. A group of waste, he has lost all his cultivation now. What are you afraid of him doing? Chen Chong surprisingly rushed towards Chen Fei on his own as he spoke. I'll let you taste my prowess today, young master. After speaking, Chu Jian's cultivation at the 4th level exploded and he punched Chen Fei. Be careful, Feier. Mei Yuan shouted. Chen Fei's eyes flickered with cold light, his right hand suddenly clenched, and the spell on his arm under his clothes seemed to come to life. God's right hand punched out. Bang! It was Chen Chong who flew out, and he had already spewed out a large mouthful of blood in the air. No, it's impossible. Your elixir field is shattered, how can you still have cultivation? Chen Chong's face was full of fear. Chen Fei walked towards Chen Chong, who was lying on the ground. Thinking of the insult he had just made to his mother, Chen Fei's heart suddenly became angry, and his right hand hit Chen Chong's head. If this punch hits, Chen Chong will definitely not survive. Feier. Mei Yuan quickly stopped Chen Fei. Chen Fei's fist stopped 1 inch above Chen Chong's forehead, and Chen Chong was already scared like a sieve because he felt that Chen Fei really wanted to kill him. Fei. Fei Gu. Chen Fei calmed down and looked at the lean congee on the ground. My mother's congee is very delicious. It's a pity to waste it. Go and lick it. Lick. I lick. Chen Chong walked over and looked at his guards, gesturing for them to hurry and call someone. Without my consent today, whoever steps out of this courtyard will be killed by me. In an instant, several guards dared not move, their cultivation was not as good as Chen Chong's. Chen Chong gritted his teeth and could only lick up the congee on the ground honestly, with mud around his mouth. Fei Gu, it's finished licking. Chen Fei looked down at Chen Chong and said, which hand did you use to push my mother just now? Chen Chong instinctively extended his right hand, and without hesitation, Chen Fei hit Chen Ji's right hand with a punch. The screams of agony echoed through the courtyard, and his hand could not be saved. Get lost. After speaking, Chen Fei helped his mother walk towards the room, and Chen Chong quickly left. Feier, you have caused a big trouble. Second elder will not let us go. Looking at the panic in his mother's eyes, Chen Fei knew that his mother must have had a bad year during his downfall. When I was just dominating the Heavenly Fire City, none of the Chen family was willing to support me. Even the elder would smile and praise me for being outstanding. Mom, don't be afraid. Since I'm back, the Chen family is still the same as the Chen family. They can't turn the tables. Mei Yuan sighed and lowered her head, tears flickering in her eyes. I don't ask for anything, as long as they allow me to be with your father after I die, that's enough. Chen Fei's heart suddenly hurt, and Mei Yuan's identity was quite special. When she was young, she was a caretaker in the brothel. Although performing is not about selling oneself, in the eyes of ordinary people, it is actually no different from prostitutes in brothels. Back then, Chen Fei's father braved the criticism of the entire city and married Mei Yuan into the Chen family, thus losing his position as the head of the Chen family. According to clan rules, Mei Yuan cannot enter her ancestral tomb after her death. We cannot be buried together with Chen Fei's deceased father. Mother, don't worry, if they don't let me, I'll move my father's grave. Mei Yuan immediately shouted, no way. I have already caused your father to lose the position of clan leader. I can't just let him fall leaves and return to his roots after he dies. Then I'll change the rules of the Chen family. The rules are all set by ancestors, how can you change them? Although Mei Yuan said so, her heart was still moved. Then I will be the master of all the Chen family members. At this moment, a servant notified Chen Fei to go to the main hall of the Chen family. What should come always comes. Chen Fei comforted his mother and went alone to the Chen family's main hall of discussion, which was already filled with people. Grandpa, you make the decision for me. That useless person broke my hand. Chen Chong knelt in front of an old man and cried. Everyone's gaze turned to Chen Fei. Among them, Elder Heir's face was the most ugly. Bold Chen Fei, how dare you come back? My surname is Chen, why can't I come back? Chen Fei remained neither humble nor arrogant. At this moment, the contemporary clan leader of the Chen family, including 4 elders, as well as a group of important figures from the Chen family, are present. Do you still know your surname is Chen? The second elder with a face full of flesh stood up. If you still remember that you are part of the Chen family, you shouldn't come back and cause trouble for the Chen family. That's right. Fourth elder also angrily said, I escaped from the Ghost King mine privately. If the little prince finds out, my Chen family will all suffer with you. Chen Fei looked coldly at the crowd and said, I came back with a special approval from the mine, and there was no escape. If you don't believe me, you can go to the mine to inspect it. Special approval. With you alone. A waste. You can lie at a young age. Enough. With a cold shout, the elder slowly stood up and everyone immediately closed their mouths. Clan chief, what do you think? The elder turned his gaze to the middle-aged man who was at the top. Seeing the head of the Chen family, Chen Fei's gaze softened slightly, because the head of the Chen family was Chen Fei's second uncle, who could be considered a very kind person to Chen Fei in the entire clan. However, under the pressure of the elder, the position of clan leader has long been in name only. Chen Kuei stood up and looked around, saying, Fei was the one I watched grow up with. I believe he didn't lie. As soon as this statement was made, it was accompanied by a cold snort, indicating that not many people really valued Chen Kuei. The elder suddenly turned his head to look at a young man not far away and asked with a smile, Xiao Tian, what do you think? Chen Tian is the youngest of Chen Fei's generation. I don't think the tribal leader is right. His voice was very plain. Clan leader Chen Kuei's face turned ugly for a moment. In which family would a younger generation dare to disobey the clan leader? Chen Tian walked up to the scene and met Chen Fei, saying, even if Chen Fei didn't sneak out of the mine, he shouldn't have come back. Coming back will only bring endless shame to my Chen family. Chen Fei stared closely at his cousin and remained silent. Chen Tian continued, a year ago, for the sake of a woman, Chen Fei buried the entire future of the Chen family. If it weren't for the large number of young princes in the Thunder Prince's mansion, the Chen family would have been destroyed by now. Some people in the field nodded frequently. They not only failed to uphold their own clan member Chen Fei, but also were grateful for the generosity of the Thunder King's mansion. Chen Tian looked at Chen Fei and said, half a year ago, the woman you sacrificed your life to protect came to the Chen family to divorce. I, Chen Tian, will remember how unpleasant her words were in my life. Since that day, my Chen family has become a joke in Tianhe City. Now that your fiancé Ae is getting married, how dare you come back? Will you come back to make my Chen family continue to be ashamed? The elder asked again, Xiao Tian, what do you think should be done? He surprisingly did not ask Chen Kuei. Chen Tian glanced at Chen Kuei and said, in my opinion, drive Chen Fei out of the Chen family and remove the genealogy. Chen Chong immediately followed suit and shouted, I agree, I'll listen to the Crown Prince. Drive this useless person out of the Chen family. The Crown Prince. Chen Fei's gaze became subtle, as if after his accident, Chen Tian had already been appointed as the next clan leader. Chen Kuigang was about to say something, but the elder was the first to say, since that's the case, let's hold up the watch according to the clan rules. Our Chen family has a total of 6 veins, and if more than half agree. Chen Fei, let's leave with your mother. Chen Fei's gaze remained steadfast as he stared at the elder. He really wanted to leave this decadent Chen family, but he was unwilling to do so. If he is really kicked out of the Chen family today, Chen Fei will definitely make a comeback in the future. In the main hall, the 2nd and 4th elders raised their hands first. I disagree. A coquettish moan rang out, and a slender girl walked in. Chen Fei's eyes lit up, and this was his cousin Chen Yi. Chen Yi just nodded at Chen Fei and then walked directly to Chen Chong, slapping him hard in the face under the gaze of everyone. Chen Chong, you have turned the other way. Even if Chen Fei is not the crown prince now, he is still your brother. Chen Chong dared not speak out in anger. On the other side, Chen Tian gritted his teeth tightly, knowing that Chen Yi was pointing fingers and cursing locusts. Later, Chen Yi looked at the elder and said, my grandfather and father are seriously ill in bed. I will represent this lineage, and I do not agree to remove Chen Fei from the family tree. Chen Yi's grandfather is the 5 elders. The elder didn't object and continued, what about the rest? Chen Kuei took a deep breath and said, I don't agree either. He represented the 3 elders in one lineage, but the 3 elders had already passed away. The elder turned his gaze to Elder 6 and said, Old 6, what about you? I'll listen to Big Brother. The 6 elders' lineage has always been neutral. Now everyone's gaze turned to the elder, and Chen Kuei sighed. He knew the ending could not be changed. Chen Fei clenched his fist tightly. My gaze swept across the entire room, those who abandon me must not stay. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the elder looked at Chen Fei and asked, Chen Fei, have you defeated Chen Chong? Tell Grandpa, have you restored your cultivation? In an instant, the whole scene was shocked. Yes. The whole scene was a sensation, and Chen Fei overturned the cognition of all of them. The elder nodded and looked at Chen Fei, asking, if you lose face, you have to take it back yourself. If Grandpa gives you a chance, do you dare? Everyone was taken aback, including Chen Fei. The 2nd elder quickly shouted, Big Brother. Shut up. At this moment, the elder is like an old lion about to anger, and everyone remains silent like a cicada. Chen Fei looked at the elder, and although he didn't know why the elder suddenly changed, he still replied, half a month, if I can't find the place lost by the Chen family in half a month, I'll leave on my own. After speaking, Chen Fei turned around and left. Grandpa. Chen Tian was puzzled. The elder waved his hand and said, no one is allowed to mention today's matter again. Everything will be decided in half a month. Chapter 4 is not about knives and plates, but about fish and meat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late at night, people are still. Chen Fei sat cross-legged on the bed. Since he has already made a half-month agreement, he must urge Tianhuang Ding to start practicing as soon as possible. The Ding is an elixir field, I wondered if it's reliable or not. But at this moment, Chen Fei had no other choice but to believe in the Emperor of the Wild God. In the next moment, Chen Fei's divine sense moved, directly urging the only trace of spiritual energy that could be mobilized to move towards the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron. Bang! In an instant, Chen Fei felt a wave of confusion in his mind. The sound of dragons singing, the sound of phoenixes singing, the roar of Qilin, the hissing of snake, my head seemed to explode. His consciousness gradually became blurred, but Chen Fei knew he couldn't faint at this moment, otherwise he might really not wake up. Finally, I survived the upheaval in my mind and everything returned to peace. Chen Fei was panting heavily, and just as he thought everything was over, a huge energy burst out from the dantian, and the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron began to spin. Ah! The huge energy fluctuations shattered Chen Fei's bones in an instant, and it was strange that he could sit still without any bone support. Damn it, you hurt me. The pain of breaking bones is not so easy to bear. Desolate starry sea, at the end of the universe. The Emperor of the Wilderness sat cross-legged with a sword, and the corner of his mouth couldn't help but rise slightly. The stinky kid just bullied his master and destroyed his ancestors on the first day of his apprenticeship. In the city of Tianhe, the ancient bracelet in Chen Fei's hand emitted a faint light, which then seeped into Chen Fei's elixir field. The Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron stopped spinning in an instant. And then he started to rotate in the opposite direction. The spiritual energy between heaven and earth rushed towards Chen Fei at an extremely exaggerated speed, to be precise, towards the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron. Outside the Chen family, in the city of Tianhuang. One by one, the masters rose up in the air, looking at the painting in the air. The originally pitch-black night sky has now turned into daylight. Time flies and the stars move. Amidst the sky filled with auspicious red and golden clouds, a war god riding a dragon looked up at the sky. This. A celestial anomaly. Someone is breaking through the heavenly fire city. Just as they were about to explore, the illusion had already disappeared. At this moment, in Mei Yuan's courtyard, a huge spiritual vortex had not yet dissipated, completely enveloping Chen Fei's room. Mei Yuan was so anxious that her eyes were filled with tears. The elder pushed the door open and entered, looking at everything in front of him in shock. Then he made a decisive decision. Immediately block the entire Chen family. Anyone who dares to approach this courtyard will be killed without mercy. What if other elders want to come in? Asked a person in the darkness. I said anyone. At the same time, outside Tianhe city, a burly man rode a massive horse covered in scales. Is this Xiaofei's hometown? It's quite impressive. I don't know the flower leaders in this city. He. Finally. Everything returned to peace, and the elder waved his hand in the darkness, lifting his guard. In the room, Chen Fei was covered in sweat, but he had already fainted. The elder rushed into the room, which was now filled with a foul odor, and Chen Fei was even dirtier. Wash the essence and marrow, transform and transform. The elder was shocked and then grabbed Chen Fei's wrist. When Fei wakes up, let him come find me. Mrs. Chen, on the other hand, hugged Chen Fei with tears all over her face. In the blink of an eye, dawn broke. Chen Fei finally woke up leisurely and quickly checked his body, only to find that the broken bones had been restored to their original state. Mobilizing dantian, Chen Fei's eyes widened in shock. First glance at the 9th level. He actually jumped directly from level 2 to level 9. He actually skipped the 7th level directly. Shocking the world. It took Chen Fei a long time to recover from the shock, with a silver light spot in his mind, which was the beast space awakened by the warriors of this world when they first saw the 5th level. Unfortunately, Chen Fei's battle beast has already died. No one can awaken the beast twice, but Chen Fei can. Looking inside at the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron, at this moment, the large cauldron is gently rotating in the elixir field. Each rotation will absorb a strand of spiritual energy from heaven and earth, and then provide feedback to Chen Fei. It is indeed automatic cultivation. When the door opened, Mei Yuan came in with kanji. At the first sight, she saw a lively Chen Fei. She put down kanji and came to check it constantly. You scared my mother to death. Mom, don't be afraid. Starting from today, the Chen family is going to change. Everything that belongs to us must be returned to us. Although Mei Yuan didn't know what was going on, she instinctively chose to believe Chen Fei and said, Elder, let you go. Don't argue with Elder. Chen Fei drank all the kanji and rushed to the elder's residence. One old and one young sit opposite each other. Why? This was a doubt in Chen Fei's heart. He didn't understand why the elder wanted to protect himself. For the Chen family. Chen Fei, your father was the best candidate for the clan leader back then, but unfortunately he gave up that position for your mother. Your second uncle Chen Kuei has a pure and virtuous nature. Without decisive killing, he must have felt that I have suppressed him everywhere these years. However, if I hadn't been this bad person, the Chen family would have been in chaos long ago. Chen Fei was lost in thought, and the elder was right. His second uncle became the clan leader because of Chen Fei's father. He was indeed prone to softening his heart, which was also the reason why no one was afraid of him. The elder continued, to be the leader of a clan, one must understand a truth. Not for the sake of knives and plates, but for the sake of fish and meat. I had always been optimistic about you back then, but unfortunately you were deposed by the Thunder King's mansion. So I could only appoint Chen Tian as the crown prince. Unfortunately, he did not pass my test in the main hall yesterday. Chen Fei looked at the elder in confusion. He's too eager to get rid of you. People who can't hide their ambitions can't become great weapons. Chen Fei suddenly felt that the old man in front of him was simply unfathomable. I won't ask if you have any adventures. I won't live for many years, and those opportunities are useless to me. Later, I will announce the re-establishment of you as the crown prince. Unexpectedly, Chen Fei shook his head and said, "Thank you very much, elder. It's just that my sentence is not yet full, and General Liu from the Ghost King mine has treated me well. I can't let him make things difficult." After speaking, Chen Fei walked out under the surprised gaze of the elder. After meeting the Emperor of the Wilderness, Chen Fei understood that the world was still vast and he could not trap himself in the Chen family. Just as I went out, I met Chen Tian head on. Chen Fei. Are you going to find the elder? Are you trying to renege on that half-month promise? Chen Fei sneered, Xiao Tian, can't you even call me brother? Maybe you don't deserve it. Chen Tian was extremely arrogant. Chen Fei's expression suddenly cooled down and he said, let's go. Today, I'll let you know if I'm worthy to be your brother. Where are we going? Biwu Tai. Chen Tian was taken aback and said, are you crazy? It hasn't been half a month yet. It won't take you half a month to teach you a lesson. A gentleman seeks revenge, seize the day and night. Chen Tian was naturally not afraid and followed Chen Fei. The news of Chen Fei and Chen Tian's martial arts competition quickly spread, and the Chen family all headed towards the Chen family's martial arts competition platform. Even a few elders quickly rushed over. On the martial arts competition platform, Chen Tian stood with his hands down, looking like an extraordinary expert. I heard that you have really retrained to the second level of Chujian. Unfortunately, I have reached the 7th level of Chujian. Don't say I bullied you, I'll give you 3 punches. The elder shook his head outside the crowd. Chen Fei, however, is not polite and doesn't take advantage of any advantages. He also wants to teach Chen Tian a lesson. With just 1 punch, it went over. Bang, this punch directly threw Chen Tian out and slammed him to the ground. The whole scene fell silent. Chen Tian covered his chest and gritted his teeth in pain. You. That doesn't count. Since you have some skills, I'll have fun playing with you, young master. After speaking, he rushed back to the martial arts competition platform, and his cultivation at the 7th level exploded. He wanted to bring back all the faces he had lost. Crown Prince, teach that useless person a lesson. Heavenly Brother is mighty. Chen Fei secretly operated the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron, and his first glimpse of the 9th level cultivation was instantly released. Bang, punching each other, the shouting suddenly came to an end, because this time it was still Chen Tian who flew out. This is impossible. Suddenly, there were screams of surprise in the field, and Chen Yi also tightly covered her mouth in shock. As for Chen Chong, he was already scared to death. The elders also looked at each other in confusion. Chen Tian stood up, his eyes bloodshot with anger. Chen Fei, you've insulted me multiple times. Today, I will let you know my strength. Accompanied by Chen Tian's roar, a silver light flashed past, followed by a roar, and a huge rhinoceros rushed out from the silver door. This is Chen Tian's battle beast, iron-armored rhinoceros. It is a mid-level battle beast at the Xian level. Turning over onto the iron-armored rhinoceros, Chen Tian looked crazy and said, "Let me smash him." A beam of light enveloped Chen Tian and the iron-armored rhinoceros, and one person and one beast seemed to merge into one, charging towards Chen Fei. Everyone held their breath. Chen Fei still stood still, but this time he activated the right hand of God. The fusion of cultivators and war beasts is definitely 1 + 1 greater than 2. Chen Fei dare not take it lightly. At first glance, all the cultivation of the 9th level was infused into his right arm, and in an instant, Chen Fei felt that he had endless power. Bang! With just one punch, Chen Fei collided with iron armor rhinoceros in one place. A circle of energy ripples dissipated, causing a gust of strong wind. Immediately after, only a mournful cry was heard, and the armored rhinoceros knelt directly to the ground. At the same time, Chen Tian spurted out a mouthful of fresh blood. The war beast and its master practiced the same meridian, and Chen Tian was also implicated. The whole scene was as silent as death. 3 fists. Chen Tian began to say that he wanted Chen Fei to punch 3 times, but Chen Fei only punched 3 times. He used these 3 punches to announce to the entire Chen family that Chen Fei had returned. Putting away his right fist, Chen Fei looked around and surprisingly, no one dared to look at him. Stepping on the head of the armored rhinoceros, Chen Fei looked down at the incredulous Chen Tian and said, "Now, am I worthy to be your brother?" "You. This is impossible." Chen Tian shook his head, but Chen Fei's right fist hit Chen Tian's head. "Call me brother." The 4 elders below shouted, "Chen Fei, don't act recklessly." Chen Fei seemed to have missed half of it, and a killing intent appeared in his eyes. "Call me brother." "Brother." Chen Tian was actually scared. Chen Fei withdrew his fist with satisfaction and looked at all the Chen family members, snorting. The Chen family can't even turn the tables. Chapter 5. Ghost King Order. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen family, conference hall. At this moment, all important figures in the Chen family are present, including Chen Fei. Unlike yesterday's Chen Fei was standing, while today he is sitting next to the elder. I disagree. The 4th elder suddenly stood up. Just now, the elder announced the decision to establish a new crown prince. Although it was not explicitly stated that the position of the crown prince would be designated as Chen Fei, it is clear that Chen Tian will be abolished. And the 4th elder is Chen Tian's grandfather. Big brother, how could the deposal of the crown prince be a child's play? Moreover, besides Xiao Tian, who else in the clan can deserve the position of the crown prince now? Chen Yi suddenly spoke up, 4th grandpa, just now Chen Fei defeated Chen Tian with 3 punches. Isn't that enough to explain something? You shut up, it's not even your turn to interrupt a younger generation. 4th elder angrily rebuked. Chen Yi's face was full of anger, but she dared not refute. Her father and grandfather were seriously injured in a previous battle and were bedridden all day long. And that battle also took the life of Chen Fei's father. The 2nd elder also stood up and said, how can the crown prince of the family play around? Although Chen Fei has defeated Xiao Tian, he will never be able to summon war beasts in his lifetime. As soon as this statement was made, the whole audience fell silent. War beasts determine the upper limit of a warrior, and there is a huge gap between them. The higher the cultivation, the more obvious this gap becomes. Even if Chen Fei can defeat Chen Tian at this moment, it may not be possible in the future. This time even the elder frowned. Chen Fei suddenly spoke up, Fei can even recover from Dantian, maybe. Before he could finish speaking, the elder's eyes lit up and he looked at Chen Fei beside him. Chen Fei actually stood up and walked straight out of the hall. He has no interest in the position of the crown prince. Chen Fei, the elder suddenly shouted, don't you think about your mother? Chen Fei stopped in an instant. If he didn't become the crown prince, he might not be able to change the clan rules, and his mother would still not be eligible to enter the ancestral tomb after 100 years. Luoning and Yang Zhao are getting married tomorrow, right? Chen Fei suddenly asked without thinking, and then said, then tomorrow, I will go to the war beast hall to awaken the war beast again. Until Chen Fei's figure completely disappeared, Chen Chong shouted, he'll just blow it. Does he think he's a beast god? Will he summon him again? Other people also joined in, waiting to see Chen Fei's joke. Chen Fei returned to his room and immediately began practicing the wilderness god slaying heaven mantra. Under the urging of the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron, spiritual energy flowed around Chen Fei's body. At the same time, golden runes began to spin around Chen Fei. If the sky doesn't open its eyes, I will open it. If the sky doesn't allow me, I will conquer it. Chen Fei could hear that it was the voice of the Emperor of the Wilderness God, and then those golden runes flooded into his body. The more he learned the Wilderness God's heavenly slaying mantra, the more he was shocked. This way of cultivation is simply unheard of. The central idea of the Wilderness God slaying heaven mantra is actually to create a new world, where the human body is a small world, and the Wilderness God slaying heaven mantra aims to create another sky in the human body. The first volume is about star making. There are a total of 720 acupoints in the human body, and the first step of the wild God slaying heaven mantra is to cultivate these 720 acupoints. The star creation scroll is divided into 9 levels, with each important practice having 80 acupoints. Each level corresponds to a great realm of cultivation in today's world. Nowadays, Chen Fei has just glimpsed the 9th level. He can clearly see that there are spiritual whirlpools condensed in the 80 acupoints on his body around the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron. The golden vortex flickers continuously, like stars in the sky. Tianhuang Ding helped himself directly break through the first sight realm. The later realm will depend on oneself to cultivate the wilderness god slaying heaven mantra and create stars. A ray of sunshine shone into the room, and without realizing it, Chen Fei had been practicing in the room for a day and a night. Today's Tianhe city is particularly lively. When the young Lord Yang Zhao got married and it was just dawn, the streets were already filled with firecrackers. Even those poor people who cannot afford fireworks and firecrackers during festivals will set off 2 fireworks today. Only the people of Tianhe city know that they do not respect the city lord. But rather fearing the lord's mansion, the Yang family's rule over Tianhe city did not rely on virtue, but on iron and blood methods. At the entrance of the Chen family, the elder and everyone had been waiting for a long time. Did Chen Fei run away? He boasted too much and dared not come. Chen Chong sneered on the side. At this moment, Chen Fei supported his mother Mei Yuan and came with confidence. Chen Fei, have you figured it out? How about another day? The elder's heart was also uncertain. In the history of Tianhe city, he had never heard of anyone who could summon war beasts again. Unfortunately, Yang Zhao's wedding took place today at the most sacred war beast hall in Tianhe city. If Chen Fei fails, it will not only completely offend the Yang and Luo families, but also make the Chen family a joke again. Just today. After Chen Fei finished speaking, he took his mother with him and left first. Big brother, do you really want to follow Chen Fei around? Asked the second elder. The elder gritted his teeth and said, take a gamble. The War Beast Hall is located in the center of the Heavenly Fire City, and everyone in the entire Heavenly Fire City must awaken the war beasts here. At the 5th level of cultivation, one can awaken a battle beast space. It is said that it is the gateway for people from this world and another world. After the gate, there is a world belonging to war beasts. As for what war beasts can be summoned, it depends on fate and talent. Someone made a stunning scene at the War Beast Hall, such as Chen Fei back then. Once summoned the high-level purple flame lion at the prefecture level. Back then, it even alarmed the royal family of the Tianhe Empire. Some people became jokes in the War Beast Hall, only summoning a local dog. It can be said that the War Beast Hall is a place that changes destiny, but today it is covered in red silk. The old butler of the Yang family is standing at the entrance of the Battle Beast Hall Square to receive guests and friends. The Yang family is also considered a wealthy family, and it is said to have some connection with a royal family in the Tianhe Empire. So this time Yang Zhao's wedding not only invited the major family forces of Tianhe City, but also the wealthy families of other cities. Even some secular sections. "Look, isn't that Chen Fei?" shouted a person in the crowd. Suddenly, everyone looked at the Chen family. Alas, it's a pity that the former great genius had to offend the Thunder Prince's mansion. Isn't Luaning his fiancée before? Does he still have the face to come today? The Chen family has lost all their faces. A person laughed and said, "The bride is married, the groom is not him, He deserves even Luaning. A waste. I heard he's still serving his sentence." The constant discussions were undisguised, and at this moment, Chen Fei became the talk of the whole audience. The Chen family members all have an unpleasant expression. "Shut up." Chen Yi took a step, but was grabbed by Chen Fei. For Chen Yi, Chen Fei feels grateful from the bottom of her heart. She has been defending herself from beginning to end. Adding icing on the cake is never better than giving charcoal in the snow. Chen Fei. Yang Jian, the old butler of the Yang family, walked over and said, "You can't go in." "Why?" Chen Yi angrily asked. Yang Jian held his hand behind his back and said, "Today, the young city lord of my family got married, which is a great joy. It's too unlucky for someone serving a sentence to enter." His voice is loud. "You're talking nonsense. It's not because of Luaning that my Feier is serving his sentence." Mrs. Chen finally couldn't help it. Chen Fei quickly comforted his mother. "Anyway, it's just not possible. This is what the city lord means, and it's also what the young city lord and the young grandmother mean. Hee, are they just so afraid of me?" Chen Fei sneered. "The rest of the Chen family can go in." Yang Jian made a gesture of invitation to the elder. For a moment, all the Chen family members were in an awkward situation. At this moment, an extremely excited shout rang out, sounding like a giant bell. "Xiaofei, you little boy is here." I saw a burly man charging through the crowd and walking over. As soon as he came over, he gave Chen Fei a bear hug. "Brother Niu. Why did you come?" Chen Fei's face was full of surprise. "Someone named Niu Ben. He is the confidant of the general of the Ghost King Mine. Half a year ago, he was saved by Chen Fei at the Ghost King Mine and has been taking good care of Chen Fei ever since. It's not because you're lucky." After speaking, he whispered, "The general is afraid that you will be wronged when you come back, so he asked me to come over." Chen Fei's heart warmed. "Xiaofei, do you recognize the Flower Queen from the Drunken Immortal Palace?" This cow rushed to Tianhe City and surprisingly went to visit brothels first. Yang Jian finally spoke up and said, "Take care of it. I think the Ghost King Mine came to catch people, right? Chen Fei, did you sneak out? Which damn onion are you?" Niu Ben actually lifted Yang Jian directly. He has a burly figure, holding a yang sword like carrying an old dog. You let me go, I'm from the Yang family. The Yang family is like a ball." With that, he threw his sword out and smashed the sign standing at the entrance. Suddenly, a cry of surprise sounded, "This is here to smash the scene. This is the Yang family's grand wedding, who is so bold?" Chen Fei roughly explained to Niu Ben why he was here and his relationship with Yang Zhao and Luoning. After hearing this, Niu Ben became furious and said, "Damn it, you're being bullied too much. Xiaofei, today Big Brother Niu helped you demolish this auditorium. Brother Niu, I will avenge myself." Niu Ben suddenly thought of something and took out a letter from his arms, handing it to Chen Fei. "General Lu asked me to urgently deliver it to you, but... that flower leader is really..." Chen Fei shook his head and smiled, opened the letter, and instantly changed his face. Before coming out of the Ghost King mine, Chen Fei asked General Lu from the Ghost King mine to help him investigate the incident where he was framed. Now there is finally a result. Yang Zhao, seek death. At first, Luoning had just gone to find Chen Fei, and the young prince of the Thunder Prince's mansion followed suit. He then teased Luoning in public, forcing Chen Fei to take action. But afterwards, he didn't touch Luoning at all. Everything is too unreasonable. This letter finally gave the answer. General Lu has investigated thoroughly, and it was Yang Zhao who laid the groundwork. It turns out that the mysterious royal power behind the Yang family is the Lei Wang mansion. Bold, who made a mistake. Finally, the movement here quickly caught the attention of the Yang family. The city lord Yang Yi rushed out with everyone. "Chen Fei. Someone, take it for me. Who dares you, lousy?" Niu Ben said, waving his hand and throwing out a token. "Open your dog's eyes and take a good look. Do I have the right to attend your son's wedding?" Yang Yi was about to get angry, but his face suddenly changed. Ghost King Order. Chapter 6. Tianhe Inverted Hanging. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. "Who is your excellency?" Yang Yi asked nervously. Niu Ben raised his head and said, "If you don't change your name, don't change your surname. I'm Niu Ben, Vice General of the Ghost King." Yang Yi's face changed again and again. The Ghost King mine was the largest, but also the most difficult and dangerous mine in the entire Tianhe Empire. Because it is not only the border between the two countries, but also a Ghost King forest where fierce beasts roam. Those who can stand firm in that place are not easy to provoke. General Lu is said to have extremely ruthless methods, killing people like a horse. So the young prince of the Thunder Prince's mansion sent Chen Fei over, but Yang Yi is now confused. Why is Chen Fei still thriving there? Just in front of so many people today, if Yang Yi is letting the ox run around, where will his face go? At this moment, a middle-aged man with a pale face walked over and whispered to Yang Yi, "Don't mess with this guy surnamed Niu. He's just a rolling knife and can't be fooled by any tricks." Chen Fei could see clearly that there was a thunder character on the sleeve of the person, from the Lei Prince's mansion. Yang Yi could only nod and apologize, saying, "Since Chen Fei is General Lu's person, he naturally has the right to enter." Niu Ben was taken aback for a moment. He had originally planned to make a big fuss, but Yang Yi was not provoked by him and could only look at Chen Fei helplessly. Then he strode towards the square with Chen Fei. The servant who received the gift at the door casually asked, "May I ask for the gift?" "No." Yang Yi looked at Chen Fei's back, his eyes full of murderous intent. And at this moment, everyone in the Chen family is beating their drums. How could Chen Fei meet General Lu from the Ghost King mine? I felt uneasy for a moment, especially the fourth elder and the second elder. The auspicious time has arrived, and Luoning and Yang Zhao entered the Battle Beast Hall square amidst various blessings. And Yang Yi and other prominent figures sat in front of the main hall of the War Beast Hall. In addition to the middle-aged man from the Thunder King's mansion, there was also a man wearing a purple and gold robe sitting above. Worship Hall. Chen Fei sat in an inconspicuous place, staring closely at the woman in the phoenix crown and rosy robe, which was Luoning. The woman who once swore a solemn oath to him. After a year, Chen Fei finally saw Luoning again. "Xiaofei, don't you stop them. Niu Ben asked in a low voice. Isn't it that she doesn't want to marry a trash when they get married? I just want her to marry a trash. Finally, accompanied by the deafening sound of firecrackers and drums, Li Cheng. Yang Yi stood up and said, Everyone, now Luoning is the daughter.in.law of my Yang family. Today, I have another happy event that I hope everyone can witness with me. The reason why I chose to hold my wedding at the War Beast Hall is because Luoning has already reached the 5th level of first sight. In a moment, praises rang out. The young lady's talent is unparalleled, and she is a perfect match for the young city lord. Congratulations to the lord. Yang Yi's intention is very obvious. Today, he wants Luoning to summon war beasts. In the crowd of the Chen family, the second elder looked at his grandson Chen Chong, who was still eating the sea fortress recklessly, and felt a burst of anger in his heart. Chen Chong has been holding back for a long time in his first glimpse of the 4th level. Luoning stood tall, wearing a phoenix crown, and walked to the center of the Battle Beast Square, where there was a white jade-made beast soul terrace. Specially used to awaken war beasts. Luoning sat cross-legged above, and everyone held their breath. Circles of silver light enveloped Luoning, completely obscuring him, and a silver beam of light rose up into the sky. Niu Ben asked, the old Yang family is so confident. If his new daughter.in.law summons a wild mountain chicken in public, wouldn't that be a loss to the adults? Chen Fei snorted coldly and said, the Luo family has inherited war beasts, but now they are lonely. The war beasts that this family usually summons are at least not too bad. Sure enough, the silver beam of light disappeared in the next moment, and Luoning suddenly opened his eyes. A silver door appeared behind her. A bird cry sounded, followed by a fiery red bird and beast rushing out. Niu Ben couldn't help but shout, what a damn wild chicken. The middle-aged man from King Lei's mansion said, I don't know, don't talk nonsense. This is the red flame bird, with a trace of the Phoenix clan bloodline. It's a high-level battle beast at the Xian level. Congratulations to Lord Yang for his double happiness. Immediately below, there were waves of congratulations. Yang Yi's face was full of smiles. This time, the Yang family was completely exposed, and there were 2 young geniuses in the clan. From now on, the Yang family will be in this city. Everyone has the right to speak. The red flame bird landed on Luoning's shoulder, and Luoning looked around, enjoying the envious gaze of everyone. Like a proud queen. Finally, his gaze fell on the Chen family, onto Chen Fei, and he shook his head disdainfully. The Chen family, on the other hand, was in a state of desolation, and everyone sighed. The proud daughter of heaven should have been the daughter.in.law of the Chen family. In the future, the Chen family will become the laughingstock of Tianhe city. Yang Zhao and Luo Ning held hands and returned to Yang Yi's side. Yang Yi waved his hand and said with a smile, I am happy today. The Tianhe city feast will last for 3 days. Suddenly, cheers rang out. Opening a banquet. Wait a minute. The whole room fell silent for an instant. Who would interrupt Yang Yi at this moment? Chen Fei slowly walked out. Is that you? Chen Fei, my family is very happy today. Don't act recklessly, otherwise. Humph. Yang Yi's eyes showed a murderous intent, and Yang Zhao and Luo Ning also had an unpleasant expression. Lord Yang, I remember there was a rule in the Sangyan Empire that cultivators' awakening of war beasts was the top priority. Everything had to give way, right? Yang Yi was taken aback for a moment, then reacted and said, are you saying that there are still people who want to awaken the warcraft? Who? Me. After a brief silence, the whole room burst into laughter. A useless person has come to awaken the war beast, ha ha ha. The Chen family is shameful and has lost everything. Yang Yi couldn't help but laugh, and Luo Ning finally spoke up, Chen Fei, I know you have a knot in your heart, but there's no need to embarrass yourself today. Go back and leave some face for the Chen family. Chen Fei sneered. He now remembered a year ago when Luoning said he wouldn't marry, it was much more beautiful than now. Without any explanation, Chen Fei released his cultivation and leaped up to the beast battle platform. What's going on? Isn't his dantian useless? How can he still have cultivation? Yang Yi frowned. Immediately after, Chen Fei sat cross-legged, like Luoning just now, with circles of silver radiance rising up. This time everyone closed their mouths. Because Chen Fei is really awakening war beasts. Interesting. The man wearing a purple gold robe next to Yang Yi stood up and instinctively turned the ring on his finger, which had the word, wild, on it. The elder of the Chen family tightly squeezed his beard, while Chen Kuei also held his breath, while Chen Yi held Chen Feinyang's hand. Bang! On the beast battle platform, a silver beam of light rose up from the sky, dazzling and surprisingly much stronger than the previous strength of Luoning. How could this be possible? Yang Yi took 2 steps forward suddenly. Terrace. This kind of light will only manifest when summoning battle beasts from the ground level. No, said the man in a purple gold robe, the light is still rising. Only then did everyone realize that the silver beam of light was becoming increasingly powerful, and the height of the beam had already broken through the cumulus cloud above their heads. This time everyone can't sit still. Tianhe. A lord from another city shouted loudly, even the person from the Thunder Prince's mansion almost fell off the high platform. This kind of light only appears on the heavenly stairs. The elder forcefully pulled off a large handful of his own beard, while the 4th elder and 2nd elder were as pale as ashes. If Chen Fei really summoned the battle beasts of the heavenly stage, not to mention the heavenly fire city, even the entire Tianhuang Empire would have confessed Chen Fei. From now on, he will become a super powerhouse. At this moment, everyone in Tianhe city is looking at the towering pillar of light, and many are secretly preparing for the appearance of Chen Fei's heavenly-level warcraft. They will immediately notify their own forces, and those hidden major sects will be moved upon hearing the news. Niu Ben roared loudly, "My goodness, Xiaofei, you little boy, stand up." On the high platform, Yang Zhao and Luoning were like eating a dead fly. Especially Luoning, constantly shaking his head, said, "Impossible, absolutely impossible." Yang Zhao roared, "That's right, it's impossible. His war beast has died, and no one in history has ever awakened a war beast again. He's pretending to be a ghost." One sentence woke everyone up. Yang Yi also shouted, "Ha ha ha, the children of the Chen family are just playing tricks." Only the man wearing a purple gold robe said, "In history. Is that the history of your Tianhuang Empire?" At this moment, the silver light pillar on the beast fighting platform suddenly became strong again, breaking through the clouds as if about to break through the sky and connect with the earth, as if the Milky Way was upside down. This time, even the man in the purple gold robe was stunned. I've never seen such a situation before. Even the battle beasts at the peak of the heavenly rank shouldn't be like this. Yang Yi shouted, "You've exposed the truth. The Chen family kid messed it up, ignorant kid. If you don't know, just stop it." Everyone also reacted and shook their heads with sighs. Then everyone saw that the silver pillar of light had turned into gold, and even the clouds in the sky had been rendered golden. On this day, the sky is filled with golden clouds in Tianhe city. In the pillar of light, Chen Fei's forehead was already sweating. Just now, he urged the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron and tried to communicate with the Masters, in the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron in the same way as the previous Emperor of the Wilderness God. But as the Emperor of the Wilderness said, there is no good fault in it. Every breath that Chen Fei felt was so terrifying, and the cold killing intent almost killed Chen Fei. Summoning the weakest, but which one is the weakest? And none of them were willing to be summoned by him. Chen Fei found that his spiritual energy was rapidly losing, and the Tianhuang ding had already rotated to its extreme. My 80 star holes are also crazily absorbing the power of heaven and earth. This kind of body overload filtering spiritual energy makes it difficult for Chen Fei to bear. If there is no master willing to be his own battle beast in the end, then I am not a big loser. At a critical moment, a delicate voice suddenly echoed through Chen Fei's mind. Yo, the new master of Tianhuang Ding is still a handsome younger brother. What's wrong? If you don't want to go out and breathe, then you can give me a discount. Then came a silver bell-like laughter, full of infinite charm. Little one, you should treat them well. Chapter 7. Revenge with Kindness. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tianhe City Battle Beast Square. The golden pillar of light, like a heavenly pillar, slowly dissipated, and everyone held their breath, even though Yang Yi had previously said that Chen Fei was pretending to be a ghost. But there are still many people looking forward to it. After all, the scene just now was too shocking, it's not something that a useless person can disguise. Chen Fei's figure appeared in everyone's sight. Suddenly opening his eyes, two bright lights burst out, and a white golden door appeared behind Chen Fei. The Gate of Space. He really summoned the Warcraft. The faces of all the Yang and Luo families have changed. And the elder of the Chen family was almost about to burst out laughing. But then everyone froze. Chen Chang's voice was surprisingly the first to sound, "This. Is this a fox?" Immediately, Yang Zhao took a step and burst into laughter, saying, "Ha ha ha, Chen Fei, I've already said that you're just a waste. Why are you arguing with me? A coquettish fox. It's perfect for you." Alas, the elder fell directly onto the chair. Other people in the room were also discussing it. Because the battle beast summoned by Chen Fei is just an ordinary white fox. The fox's body is mostly snow-white, with only a hint of crimson on its tail. At this moment it is staring around with bewildered eyes, without any spiritual energy fluctuations on its body. This is just a wild beast. Any battle beast, even the lowest yellow-level battle beast, will experience spiritual fluctuations when just summoned. Only those wild beasts have none. The Chen family has once again become a laughing stock. The Chen family has encountered summoning beasts more than once, and the last one was Chen Yi. Just 2 months ago, Chen Yi summoned a civet cat. At this moment, Yang Zhao was completely indifferent, as if venting his previous nervousness. The Chen family is just a joke. A double beast family, the Tianhe city can only have me, Yang Zhao, as a genius. Zhao. Yang Yi immediately reprimanded him, fearing that Yang Zhao's plan to frame Chen Fei would be exposed. At this moment, Chen Fei didn't listen to outsiders at all, just facing the fox with 4 eyes. Chen Fei wouldn't think this was just a wild beast. How could the existence in the Tianhuang Ding be an ordinary beast? This. Senior. Am I very old? In the future, you call me sister. Chen Fei's mind rang with the voice of the fox. Sister. Sister. Are you? It doesn't matter who I used to be, what's important is that I will be your war beast in the future, master. Chen Fei's spine was numb as he listened to the seductive voice of the fox. Forced to calm down, Chen Fei said directly, I have a revenge to seek. When? Right now. I didn't expect the white fox to jump directly onto Chen Fei's shoulder and then say, it's perfect to move your muscles and bones. Chen Fei, why don't you come down yet? Aren't you ashamed enough? It turned out that Luo Ning was speaking. With a sneer, Chen Fei turned to Yang Zhao and said, Yang Zhao, our grudges should be settled now. It's better to choose a day than to collide. After speaking, a flash of sword light flashed through his hand, and a corner of the robe had already been cut off. The dagger, carrying that corner of the robe, shot towards Yang Zhao. Cutting off the robe and breaking the righteousness. Yang Zhao, dare you fight? Chen Fei's words startled the whole audience. Bold Chen Fei, this is a day of great joy for our Yang family. You. Before Yang Yi could finish speaking, Yang Zhao actually sneered and jumped into the field. If you want to fight, then fight. Chen Fei suddenly raised his hand and said, wait a minute, how about adding some colorful decorations? Later, the two of them surprisingly spoke in unison with great tacit understanding, fate. This is a never-ending battle. Yang Yi snorted coldly. Yang Zhao's two-headed tigers were already the pinnacle of the Xuanjia battle beasts. With Chen Fei's little fox, defeating Yang Zhao was simply a pipe dream. Why don't we add some more tricks? If the Chen family provokes today, they will have to pay the price. If Chen Fei loses, I will take half of the Chen family's inheritance. The whole audience was shocked. The faces of the Chen family changed greatly, and Yang Yi continued, if we lose, the same goes for us. Niu Ben muttered softly, how did this fool become the city lord? The elder's face kept changing. He didn't dare to gamble. But Chen Kuei, who had always been a coward, suddenly stood up and said, let's gamble. I am the head of the Chen family, and today I have the final say. Okay. Zhao, don't keep your hands. In the center of the square, Chen Fei and Yang Zhao stood opposite each other. Chen Fei, where's all that nonsense coming from? Chen Fei rushed forward directly, and the spiritual energy of the 9th level was instantly infused into the right hand of the god. In an instant, Chen Fei's arm shone brightly. Shanbun fist. This is the basic technique of the Chen family. Yang Zhao didn't expect Chen Fei to take direct action. He hastily stepped forward to greet him, punching each other. With a loud bang, Yang Zhao was thrown out. You sneak attack. Yang Zhao glared angrily at Chen Fei. At this moment, his right arm's wedding dress had all been shattered, revealing a golden protective arm inside. If it weren't for this arm guard just now, Yang Zhao's arm would probably have been severely injured, it would have been the right hand of God. A tiny voice sounded, how did Chen Fei recover his cultivation? In an instant, the whole scene was shocked. Just now when Chen Fei summoned the battle beast, no one reacted. Only by first observing the 5th level can he summon the battle beast, but Chen Fei's Dantian has already been destroyed. Yang Zhao also instantly reacted, but then calmed down. At first glance at the 5th level, dare you challenge me? I'm going to kill you. After speaking, a piercing light burst out from his body. Here comes the gun. A fiery red spear fell into Yang Zhao's hand, and he thrust it. Is he still afraid of a novice at level 8? And Chen Fei stood still in place. Just as the gun was about to stab Chen Fei, Shen Ji's right hand directly grasped the barrel. Yang Zhao was shocked and found that his gun was difficult to move forward. Chen Fei fiercely pulled Yang Zhao over, then his spiritual energy boiled all over, and his foot hit Yang Zhao's chest. Yang Zhao fell hard to the ground, vomiting blood incessantly. No one expected this scene when they started fighting, it was completely overwhelming. You're not just getting a glimpse of the 5th level. Chen Fei smiled faintly and said, who told you that only when you reach the 5th level can you awaken the Warcraft? Yeah, are there still few rules that Chen Fei broke? Why can't we summon war beasts at higher cultivation levels when the Dantian is destroyed and can still practice, and when the war beasts die, they can still be summoned again? The middle-aged man from King Lei's mansion said in a deep voice, he's just getting a glimpse of the 9th level. This time, the rest of the people in Tianhe city were all confused. At first glance at the 9th level, it was almost the same as before Chen Fei was deposed. Even now, it is still the first young generation in Tianhe city. Thinking of Chen Erye's iron-blooded methods in the past, those who just mocked Chen Fei couldn't help but feel a chill behind their backs. Chen Eri was not just a vain name back then. Yang Zhao roared angrily, what can I do with my first glimpse of the 9th level? I have the ghostly twin-headed tiger. A tiger roar sounded, and a silver door had already appeared behind Yang Zhao. A huge two-headed tiger appeared. As soon as the two-headed tiger appeared, it rushed towards Chen Fei. This is not Chen Tian's armored rhinoceros. As soon as the two-headed tiger appeared, black lightning flashed around its body, and every step was accompanied by lightning and thunder. The power is overwhelming. Master, don't panic, there's still me. The white fox on Chen Fei's shoulder lightly jumped down and walked towards the fierce two-headed tiger. Tear up that naughty fox. Yang Zhao roared angrily. Some of the girls present couldn't help but cover their eyes. After all, this white fox is quite attractive to girls. Kneel down. Everyone heard a soft sound. Bang, then, under the shocked gaze of the crowd, the ghostly two-headed tiger immediately stopped and collapsed on the ground, right in front of the white fox. The body of the two-headed tiger was trembling slightly. Well, the man in a purple and gold robe exclaimed in surprise, bloodline suppression. What is the origin of this fox? The whole scene fell silent. Everyone just watched as the noble white fox stepped on the tiger's head and walked over. A foul smell came over, and the two-headed tigers were scared to pee. The white fox turned to look at Chen Fei, who immediately understood and stepped on the body of the two-headed tiger towards Yang Zhao. Yang Zhao was also shocked and at a loss. Now you and I are one. On point one. Chen Fei said in a deep voice. Yang Zhao suddenly clenched the long spear in his hand. Xiaofei, take the sword. Niu Ben shouted. Chen Fei raised his hand and took the long sword. The long sword immediately engaged in a battle with Yang Zhao's long spear. The sword and spear met, and Yang Zhao surprisingly took more than 10 steps back to stand firm. Ah! Yang Zhao was unwilling and rushed over again. Chen Fei wielded a sword with one hand and fought alongside Yang Zhao. Chang, finally, accompanied by the sound of a clash of gold and iron, Yang Zhao's spear flew away and his sword pierced Yang Zhao's shoulder. Yang Zhao, today's grudges have ended. If this sword is cut down, Yang Zhao will splatter blood on the spot. Fei Gu, don't. Luo Ning suddenly shouted at the top of his lungs, please let Yang Zhao go. I know I was wrong, you have pity on me. I am pregnant with Yang Zhao's child. Chen Fei's hand trembled suddenly, and his heart also trembled. The head of the Luo family sighed and said, what a sin. For a long time, Chen Fei drew his long sword and kicked Yang Zhao down with one kick. Go away. Then he carried his sword and headed towards Yang Zhao's two-headed tigers. He still softened his heart, after all, the unborn child was innocent. But to his surprise, Yang Zhao, who was lying on the ground, had a hint of cruelty in his eyes and then exchanged a glance with Luo Ning. At the next moment, a dagger flickering with blue light was pulled out from somewhere. It is clearly highly toxic. Thoroughly thrust towards Chen Fei's back. Sigh. Chen Fei sighed and suddenly turned around. The long sword emitted a cold light in the air, and Yang Zhao fell into a pool of blood. Zhao air. Yang Yi roared and rushed down, and the elder rushed out first to block Yang Yi. Suddenly, bursts of intense light erupted, and the Yang and Luo families took action together. The Chen family saw that the elder had already taken action, so they could only follow suit and take action together. The scene suddenly fell into chaos. Chen Fei remained unmoved and looked at Luoning. Luoning, give birth to the child and tell him that it was me, Chen Fei, who killed his father. If you have the guts, come and seek revenge. The long sword was swung again, and Yang Zhao's head had already flown out. Luoning's eyes darkened and he fell to the ground. Chapter 8. Still a doll. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhao air. Yang Yi's eyes seemed to drip blood. He only has a son like Yang Zhao, and that's the flesh of his heart. Chen Fei, take your life. A stunning sword light slashed towards Chen Fei from afar. Yang Yi's ability to become the lord of Tianhe city naturally requires some means. His cultivation level can at least rank among the top 3 in Tianhe city. The elder of the Chen family naturally couldn't watch Chen Fei die. A vertical body blocked the light of the knife, and the old hands pushed out horizontally, blocking out a light wall. Pup, to the surprise of the Chen family, the elder directly sprayed blood. Open the spiritual realm. This statement shocked the whole audience. Yang Yi had already quietly broken through to the Kaling realm, while the Grand Elder had only just built a high-level C realm. The Chen family obeyed orders and made every effort to protect Chen Fei. Rushing out, the elder roared, his snow-white beard covered in blood. No one wants to leave today. Yang Yi was like a madman, roaring angrily, and immediately rushed out of the hundreds of Yang family members, surrounding the entire Warcraft square. Even those guests and friends were not allowed to leave. The Luo family also rushed out with hundreds of guards. This time, Chen Fei offended not only the Chen family, but also the Luo family. After all, Luoning has already paid respects, and now the two families are already one. The Chen family was surrounded in the middle. They are guests, so it's impossible for them to come to the wedding with a group of elite guards from the tribe, right? And when entering the square, all the weapons were collected. Chen Fei's sword is made by a cow running, and no one dares to accept the weapons of a cow running. At this moment, the Chen family is facing hundreds of murderers wielding weapons with bare hands. It's like a dead end. Chen Fei, what you did, you killed us. Chen Cheng shouted loudly, so scared that his pants were almost wet, while the fourth elder of the Chen family on the other side took 2 steps and bowed to Yang Yi. City Lord, it's all Chen Fei's fault today. If you want to kill or cut him, please don't let the Chen family get involved. We were planning to expel him from the Chen family. Old 4. The elder slapped him in the face. Big brother, do you want me, the Chen family, to be destroyed along with you? Shouted the fourth elder grimly. Chen Fei glanced coldly at the 4 elders and said, those who abandon me cannot stay. Yang Yi was on the brink of collapse and waved his hand, saying, it's too late, you're all going to die. Since today's wedding cannot be held, then let's all die for me. Yang Zhao died, and Yang Yi's hope was extinguished. Before Chen Fei walked to the Chen family, the white fox crouched on his shoulder. It seems that Chen Fei remained silent, but in reality, he was already communicating with the white fox in his mind. Sister, there is a way to escape. Just kill it. The white fox's answer was extremely plain. I can go beyond my limit and make a move within a day of taking the cauldron. After a day, I can't make a move casually. After all, I am your companion beast. I want to practice with you again. Chen Fei is overjoyed. One day is enough. On the other side, Yang Yi waved his long sword and shouted, kill the Chen family for me. The second uncle of Yang Zhao is at the forefront, a mid-level expert in building the sea, and the second expert of the Yang family. Just as Chen Fei was about to let the white fox take action, a furious scolding sounded first. I'll go fuck you. Then a black shadow almost instantly came behind Uncle Yang Zhao, who was an extremely tall and burly figure, over 3 meters tall. With both arms exerting force, Yang Erlang, who was building the middle level of the sea, was torn in half by the black shadow. Blood and viscera fell from the air onto the black figure. Black shadow has 2 huge curved corners on its head, like 2 curved knives. Standing in place, like a demon god. This bloody and shocking scene scared everyone to a standstill. The sudden appearance of the troll is none other than Nyoban. Chen Fei sighed lightly in his heart. It seemed that there was no need for the white fox to take action today. Chen Fei knew the strength of the bull run, and now this form is what he looks like after merging with the war beast. Mysterious high-level battle beast, bull demon. And Niu Ben has long been a master of opening the spiritual realm. Has it stopped? The sound of Niu Ben was like thunder, waking many people up. Yang Yi roared angrily, are you really going to intervene in this matter? Niu Ben cursed angrily and said, Xiao Fei's matter is my matter. Your son is not skilled enough, and he wants to die on his own. With so many eyes on him, do you still want to play a scoundrel? Besides, they have already verbally signed a statement of life and death, and your son deserves it if he dies. He deserved his death, and as soon as the 4 words were spoken, Yang Yi immediately spewed out a mouthful of old blood. I'm going to the Ghost King mine to report you. Tell me. Hey, I promise you can't leave Tianhe city. The Chen family looked at the terrifying bull run, and then at Chen Fei. They were all shocked. How could Chen Fei have met such an amazing person? Yang Yi gritted his teeth and shouted, "Up, so many of us are still afraid that he won't succeed." But no one took action, it was just too shocking to tear Yang Erlang apart. That's a mid-level expert in Tianhe. Yang Yi turned his head to look at the middle-aged man in the Lei Wang mansion and said, "Sir, please take action to uphold justice for me." Unexpectedly, the middle-aged man coughed and said, "That leaves the Green Mountains without worrying about firewood." Yang Yi was taken aback. What does this mean? He can't beat me. Niu Ben sneered. Yang Yi once again looked in the direction of the middle-aged man wearing a purple gold robe, but to his surprise, he had already disappeared. If you don't hit me, then you'll leave. After finishing speaking, he waved his hand at Chen Fei and said, "Let's go. I didn't have enough to drink today. You can accompany me when you go back." Nature. Chen Fei smiled and nodded, but he didn't rush to leave. Instead, he walked up to the 2-headed tigers. The 2-headed tiger of the underworld is the pinnacle of the mysterious level battle beast. Yang Zhao and I gambled and lost their lives, so naturally this war beast is also mine. And at this moment, the ghostly 2-headed tiger was already on the brink of death. If the owner dies, the war beast will also be affected to a certain extent. After all, the war beast is in a companion relationship with its owner. With a single sword, it pierced directly at the junction of the 2 ends of the ghostly 2-headed tiger. A mournful tiger roar sounded, and the lives of the 2-headed tigers were already gone. But Chen Fei has not yet drawn his sword. Chen family child, you are bullying people too much. Yang Yi was about to explode, but was once again stopped by Niu Ben, and a faint and imperceptible light entered Chen Fei's body along the long sword. It is the Tianhuang Ding absorbing the energy of war beasts. Chen Fei stood still, his long sword inserted into the 2-headed tigers, his eyes fixed on Yang Yi. To outsiders, this is just provocation. Cough, Xiaofei, it's almost enough. You've been posing for too long, Niu Ben whispered as a reminder. Chen Fei smiled bitterly. He also wanted to hurry up, but it was his first time using the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron to absorb the energy of war beasts and he couldn't control it. At this moment, the white fox on its shoulder lightly patted Chen Fei with its paws. The Tianhuang Ding suddenly spun rapidly, but in an instant, the energy of the 2-headed tigers was absorbed completely. Let's go. Chen Fei didn't have time to be shocked and rushed away because he felt like he was about to break through. Return to Tianhe realm. Niu Ben then walked out of the battle beast square with the Chen family under Yang Yi's murderous gaze. Chen Fei rushed back to his room, locked the door, and began to break through. After the first glimpse of the 9th level, it was time to build the sea realm. The so-called building the sea is actually considered as truly stepping into the path of cultivation. The spiritual energy stored in a cultivator's dantian is initially just a vortex of spiritual energy. Building a sea realm is to explore the spiritual sea in the dantian, transform the spiritual energy into the sea, and completely become the foundation of a cultivator. But Chen Fei no longer has dantian. His dantian is now the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron. How can he still build a sea in dantian? Spiritual energy kept pounding around the Heavenly Wilderness Cauldron, causing pain to Chen Fei's expression. White Fox jumped onto Chen Fei's bed and drank coquettishly, "Stupid. Didn't that old man pass on the wilderness god slaying heaven mantra to you? Why are you still practicing according to your low-end cultivation methods? Chen Fei suddenly realized. Concentrate and calm your mind, and start operating the wild god-slaying heaven mantra. In an instant, the 80 star holes around the Tianhuang ding began to rotate, absorbing all the chaotic spiritual energy. After all the star holes were saturated, there was a change in Chen Fei's body. One by one, the previously silent acupoints began to shimmer with light, and that was the new star acupoint. The Chen family had just returned home when the elder rushed to Chen Fei's small courtyard, only to see a surge of spiritual energy in the room. Is this breaking through again? Breaking through again. Helplessly, he could only order the blockade of Chen Fei's small courtyard, while rushing back to the hall himself. After all, the Chen family is now facing a major event. Inside the room, Chen Fei's star holes kept flickering in his body, 1 or 2, until he reached 20.5 star holes before stopping. Tianhe realm is different from Chujian, as it only has 3 levels. Low, medium, and high. According to the fact that each realm corresponds to 80 star holes, Chen Fei is now at the lower level of Tianhe. Slowly exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Chen Fei opened his eyes. Build a maritime environment. It is false to say that he is not excited at this moment. A year ago, Chen Fei was reduced from Tianhe to a waste, and now he has returned to his original state. My heart is full of mixed flavors. I just absorbed a mysterious peak battle beast and broke through to the lower level of Tianhe. What would happen if I absorbed more? Chen Fei excitedly muttered to himself. That little flower cat with 2 heads is not at the Xian level, it is already at the ground level. The voice of the white fox echoed from the bed behind Chen Fei. At the prefecture level. Chen Fei turned around and was about to speak, but he was so scared that he jumped up. Holy crap, you should know that he didn't lose his composure when he first met the Emperor of the Wild God. You. At this moment, there was no white fox on Chen Fei's bed. It was clearly a woman, a seductive woman to the extreme. Skin is like condensed fat, red lips are like fire, and a pair of eyes are like water and soft. For words describe that face, it's a disaster for the country and the people. Looking down further, the snow-white neck, intoxicating curves, and slender waist all indicate that the woman was dressed in a cool and hazy manner. The woman couldn't help but chuckle when she saw Chen Fei stunned. A smile is full of charm. Later, the woman surprisingly lifted her long legs and handed her jade feet to Chen Fei, intentionally smiling and asking, "Why, it's still a doll." Chapter 9. One Tail Leaving Wind. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The crystal clear and pink feet of the white fox were right in front of me, and I followed this leg all the way to look over. 2 nosebleeds unexpectedly flowed down unexpectedly. Wheezing, the white fox couldn't help but laugh out loud, then withdrew its jade legs and looked at Chen Fei with seductive eyes like spring. What kind of system is this? Chen Fei pulled off the curtains from the bed and threw them onto Bai Hu, barely calming his mind. But then there was a wave of fear in his mind. Although Chen Fei was devoted to Luaning back then, because he was too excellent, he also had many birds and swallows around him. And the children of the aristocratic family, which one is not precocious? Even if you don't want to mature yourself, the elders at home will still find ways to help you mature. Chen Fei is no longer the kind of indifferent little brat. How could he have just lost his composure? Looking back calmly now, he may have been enchanted. The art of fox seduction has been legendary since ancient times. Are you afraid of my sister? The voice is correct, it is the white fox summoned by oneself. Taking a deep breath, he looked at the white fox and said, "Did you use the fox seduction technique on me? Do you want to murder my lord?" White fox smiled lightly and said, "This is a welfare, little brat who knows no good or bad. I'm not a doll." Oh. Is that right? As the white fox was about to pull off its veil, Chen Fei quickly stopped him and said, "You won. Let's get to know each other. My name is Chen Fei." "I know, the name is very rustic. Chen Fei. The white fox sat up straight, but now it looked like a knowledgeable and rational lady from a wealthy family. "Time is too far away. In the past, they used to call me Jiuwei. As for you, just call me Su Su. Nine-tailed fox." Chen Fei's eyebrows were about to stand up. This kind of legendary beast has only been seen in ancient history books, and it is a presence that can raise its hand to capture dragons. I couldn't help but look behind Su Su, and a furry big tail appeared at the right time, gently swaying. 1. Chen Fei was puzzled. Su Su stood up and said, "I told you, I am now your companion beast and I need to practice again. After tonight, I will be completely on the same level as you. That's also why the guys inside don't want to come out and be your battle beast." Chen Fei nodded, not surprised at all that this divine beast-level existence could transform into a human form. "I just didn't expect that the first summoned beauty would be such a disaster to the country and the people, which is also considered a welfare. Once the cultivation of Jianhe Jing is completed, I will be able to grow a second tail." Chen Fei suddenly asked, "What can you bring me?" "Happiness." Chen Fei was speechless, referring to the talent of war beasts. The level of war beasts will change the master's talent, and in addition, war beasts will also merge with their master. Some will transform into a divine weapon or armor after fusion, while others will bring a divine skill to the owner, such as the fox seductive technique. Chen Fei doesn't want it at all. Some will directly merge with the beast owner to strengthen themselves, such as Niu Ben and his beast Niu Mo. Su Su directly reached out and rested her hand on Chen Fei's shoulder. In an instant, a touch of platinum light emanated from the center of each person's fox eyebrows, intertwined with each other, and finally fused into a complex curse mark in the air. This is the first time this person and fox have fused. In the next moment, the platinum light shone brightly, and Su Su had already disappeared, while behind Chen Fei, there was an additional sword box. The sword box is covered in a white jade color, emitting a divine light. Above it is carved a lifelike and enchanting nine-tailed fox. In the next moment, the sword box opened and a long sword with a shimmering blue light shot out, emitting a sword roar. Tearing apart the air, it produces bursts of explosive sounds. What a sharp sword! Finally staying in front of Chen Fei. Sword name: Lu Feng. At this moment, Su Su's voice also changed, no longer enchanting sentient beings as before, but carrying an unstoppable domineering aura and decisive killing. Leaving the wind sword. Who can leave a breath in the wind? Chen Fei's sword broke at the entrance of the Luo family, and now Su Su has brought him a new sword. Sword with wind attribute. In the fusion of war beasts, transforming into weapons is the most common and relatively the worst fusion. Just the sword in front of me is a fusion of divine beasts. How could it be worse? Excitedly, he reached out his hand and grasped the handle of the Lufeng sword. In an instant, an inexplicable divine wind rose from the room, and it was the sword recognizing its master. Chen Fei's roof was shattered by this gust of wind. The sound here naturally alarmed everyone in the conference hall. The elder looked around and found that it was in the direction of Chen Fei's house. He immediately shouted, "Stay here for me." After finishing speaking, he left alone. A dark figure appeared from the shadows and asked, "Are you still sealed?" Seal. Still, no one is allowed to approach Chen Fei's yard. The cool breeze in the room finally stopped, and Chen Fei's eyes were filled with surprise. This sword was as if it had been tailor-made for him. "This is the tail sister gave you." One tail. Chen Fei suddenly turned back to look at the sword box, and indeed there were 9 sword holes inside. Apart from the one where the wind sword was left, the other 9 were also shining brightly. 9 swords. Su Su brought Chen Fei 9 swords. That's her 9 tails. It is said that the 9 tails of a 9-tailed fox represent different abilities, and now it seems correct. Release the Lufeng sword, and it automatically returns to the sword box. The light flashes, and Su Su appears once again in front of Chen Fei. Someone has arrived. Su Su transformed into a white fox and landed on Chen Fei's bed. The next moment, the elder pushed the door in. Feier. He has now directly referred to Chen Fei as Feier. Grandpa, what's up? Since the elder was kind to Chen Fei naturally wanted to reciprocate. This sentence from the elder delighted him and he immediately looked up at the broken roof. Oh, nothing, I'll have someone come to repair the roof for you in the evening. He never asks much. Tomorrow, right? I'm going to kill someone later, it's inconvenient. The elder suddenly looked at Chen Fei and found him grinning lightly as he looked at him. He sighed and said, Feier, the future of the Chen family is with you. I'm getting old, do you understand? Don't worry, Grandpa. I said half a month, half a month. Half a month later, the Chen family will have the final say in Tianhe city. The elder nodded and turned to leave. He is going to handle matters within his clan, and it is now clear that the second elder and the fourth elder have strong opinions towards Chen Fei. Chen Fei sat cross-legged on the bed. You said within a day, you can go beyond the limit and fight. Su Su nodded and said, we won't be able to do it after tonight. Okay, come with me tonight to kill someone. Subsequently, Chen Fei stayed in the room for cultivation, trying to stabilize his Tianhe realm without even managing the cow run. No one came to disturb during this period. Master, there is someone guarding you in the dark outside. Chen Fei just nodded and continued his cultivation. He knew who it was, the dark guard next to the elder, and it was the last card of the Chen family. Throughout history, only the elder of the Chen family was able to take over the Chen family's secret guards, in order to supervise the entire clan and also the clan leader. Finally, it's nightfall. The moon is dark and the wind is high, perfect for killing. Chen Fei was dressed in white clothes, with a white fox squatting on his shoulder, heading towards the outside of the city. In the dark and white, he kills with dignity and fearlessness. At the same time, more than 20 armored cavalry escorted a carriage and rushed out of the main gate of the sky train. Lei Ting sat in the spacious carriage. Beside him was a girl dressed in cool clothes peeling grapes. What a damn misfortune. Lei Ting couldn't help but curse. He was originally the second butler of the Lei Wang mansion, the capital of the Tianhuang Empire, but even so, he still held a place in the privileged circle of the capital. I was sent to Tianhe city to attend Yang Zhao's wedding this time. I was originally a fat job, enjoying food, drink, and play, but it was natural for me to make another fortune in the end. But unexpectedly, in the end, the happy event turned into a funeral and even led to the Ghost King mine. In his presence, Niu Benchu even let Yang Erlang tear him apart. It was not his face that was lost, but the face of the Thunder Prince's mansion. He can only go back and seek help. Niu Ben is such a generous scoundrel. He has provoked a conflict between the Ghost King mine and the Thunder King mansion. What benefits does it bring him? The more I thought, the more angry I became, and I pulled over the woman next to me. This is dedicated to him by Yang Yi. A strange sound suddenly came from the car. The cavalry outside the car didn't take it seriously, they all knew that their second butler had some quirks. Ahead was a mountain road, and suddenly the leading cavalry saw a young man in white standing with his hands down on a boulder by the roadside, as abundant as jade. And there was still a white fox crouching on his shoulder, wagging its tail. Stop! The carriage suddenly stopped, and Lei Ting almost threw it out. He pushed open the car door and cursed, "Do you want to die?" Suddenly, he also saw the white dress. With a grin on his face, his teeth turned even whiter. "You are Chen Fei." Chen Fei snorted coldly and said, "The detonator has a good memory, but I don't know if you remember me because of today's events or a year ago." Lei Ting's gaze froze. He will forget, but Chen Fei will not forget. A year ago, it was this Lei Ting who accompanied the young prince of the Lei Prince's mansion to abolish his cultivation. The sword at Dantian is still unforgettable to this day. "What are you doing to stop my car?" "Murder, revenge." Chen Fei's answer was simple. "Revenge. Looking for me." "Ha ha ha." Lei Ting burst out laughing and looked around to confirm that Niu Ben was not there. "Chen family kid, are you crazy? Do you think I'm the trash from Yangzhou?" A body full of spiritual energy shook open, and the carriage shattered and screamed in agony. Even the mortal woman inside was shaken out by this spiritual energy, and it seemed that she couldn't live anymore. Open the spiritual realm. Lei Ting was very angry. What happened during the day had already made him feel angry, and he happened to kill Chen Fei to relieve his hatred. Chen Fei, however, stood in place with a light and calm demeanor. "Leave Lei Ting to you, and those cavalry to me." Unexpectedly, Su Su looked at Chen Fei and asked, "You took me out late at night, wasting my ultimate battle just to kill him." Chen Fei was taken aback. "Is there any problem?" Sigh. Su Su shook her head, then extended a snow-white paw and casually pressed it. With a loud roar, 100-meter giant claw approached from the sky. The smoke and dust dispersed, and Chen Fei stood still. "There is only blood stains left in front of me. Not a single one remains." Chapter 10. Millennium Glory Never Dies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Feiren was all dumbfounded. But at this moment, Su Su looked at Chen Fei shaking his head and sighing, with a look full of hatred in his eyes. "Where exactly is your limit?" It was really shocking. That claw just now hit a spirit realm and more than 20 cavalry soldiers, leaving no residue. Immediately, Chen Fei felt relieved that this was a divine beast. "Let's go to the Yang family and exterminate them tonight." Unexpectedly, Su Su said, "No way." "Why?" "It's just a matter of one paw." "Oh, the Yang family is large, so we probably need to take more paws." Su Su yawned and said, I said I only have one battle power. I just used it, and now I'm just like you, a little fox demon building a sea realm." World War I. Is that what it means? Isn't this a blow? Chen Fei was deeply regretful in his heart. If he had known this, he would have gone to eliminate the great trouble in the Yang family's heart first. However, having avenged a small portion of the past, tonight's trip is considered worthwhile. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to try the wind sword. Yang family, at this moment, the city lord Yang Yi's room is still brightly lit. Yang Yi lightly caressed the long spear left by Yang Zhao, with infinite hatred in his eyes. "My son, don't worry, Dad will definitely avenge you." The old butler Yang Jian also looked sad and angry. "Lord, rest assured that when Lord Lei Ting returns to the Lei Wang mansion, the Lei Wang mansion will definitely send people to kill the Niu Ben rebel." Chang, the long spear plunged into the ground, and Yang Yi was like a crazy wolf. "I can't wait that long. If Chen Fei lives one more day, my son's soul will find it difficult to rest. Tomorrow, I want him to die tomorrow." Yang Jian hesitated and said, "But the cowherd from the Ghost King mine is still at the Chen family." "Then let's kill it all together." "I can't kill it, doesn't mean others can't kill it." Suddenly, a hearty laughter came from outside the door as he spoke. "Lord Yang came to me late at night. Is there any big deal?" The door opened, and it was the man wearing a purple gold robe in the daytime who entered. The butler Yang Jian was surprised in his eyes. This is an unfathomable existence, Nye Qingfeng never sleeps in the building. There is no one in the entire Tsanyan Empire who doesn't know the Night Tower, even those 3 or 4-year-old children are like this. The first chamber of commerce of Tianhe Empire. It is not an exaggeration to say that they are wealthy enough to rival the country. Even the rulers of the Tianhe Empire would treat the owner of the Tower of Eternal Night with respect. And it is said that the Night Tower has a history of thousands of years. Not only do they buy and sell goods at night, but they also buy and sell human lives. And this Nye Qingfeng is the deputy owner of the Night Tower. Yang Yi glanced at Yang Jian and he wisely retreated. Master Nye, Yang has a life transaction. I wonder if your building is willing to accept it. Nye Qingfeng smiled faintly and said, is it the young man from the Chen family or the deputy general of the Ghost King mine? All of them. Yang Yi's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Master Nye, let's set a price. Nye Qingfeng shook the folding fan in his hand, which was obviously quite expensive. Lord Yang should know that killing that young man from the Chen family is a small matter, but there is support from Lu Ming on that Nyoban. How much is it? My Yang family is willing to pay, just to vent their anger. What I don't lack the most in the Night Tower is money. Since Lord Yang is open and honest, let me be frank. I heard you have obtained an inner pill of a heavenly level battle beast. As soon as he said this, Yang Yi's face changed drastically. The heavenly war beast is 1 in a million, and the Tianhe Empire has not produced a heavenly war beast for many years. The inner elixir of a heavenly level battle beast is extremely precious. If taken, it not only enhances the level of one's own battle beast, but also inherits a divine talent of a heavenly level battle beast. After Nye Qingfeng finished speaking, he remained silent and waited for Yang Yi to answer. Yang Yi struggled for a long time. This inner pill was originally intended for Yang Zhao, but now it is no longer needed. I promise. Refreshing. Nye Qingfeng closed the folding fan in his hand and said, tonight is too short. Tomorrow night will be the end of that cow running. I will buy 1 more and get 1 free, and the young man from the Chen family will also help you deal with it. No need, Chen Fei, I'll do it myself. I'll peel his skin and cramp him, hang him at the city gate, and let thousands of birds eat his meat and gnaw on his bones. When people do it at home, disaster comes from heaven. Chen Fei is practicing and can't help but sneeze. Who is cursing me? And Su Su had already fallen asleep sweetly in bed at this moment. Chen Fei looked at Su Su's charming appearance and couldn't help but be distracted by the hazy snow-white scenery in the daytime. Subconsciously approached Su Su. Unexpectedly, Su Su suddenly opened her eyes and stared closely at Chen Fei, who was within reach. What are you doing? Chen Fei felt embarrassed for a moment and suddenly said, I smell if you have fox odor. Roll. This kick kicked Chen Fei out of the room directly. Unexpectedly, he saw his mother Mei Yuan sitting in the yard, which made him even more embarrassed. He couldn't say that there was a beautiful woman lying in bed now. But it's already late at night, why hasn't Mei Yuan slept yet? Fei, listen to your mother. Let's leave early tomorrow morning and go back to the Ghost King mine. The Yang family won't let you go. Originally, Mei Yuan was worried about Chen Fei. Poor parents all over the world. Don't worry, mother. Everything will come to an end before I leave. Help Mei Yuan back to the room, and Chen Fei rushes back to Su Su's bedside. Why are you a man so energetic at night? Why don't you let me rest? Chen Fei felt a strange feeling in his heart, but he could only grit his head and say, Sister, help me improve my strength. You must have a way, right? So anxious. Don't you have half a month left? Yang Yi couldn't wait, nor could Chen Fei. He didn't want his mother to be unable to sleep at night, and the solution to the problem was simple. To destroy the Yang family. Su Su saw the firmness in Chen Fei's heart. In 3 hours, I can temporarily increase your strength by 3 hours. However, you may die. The backlash of the Tianhuang ding is not so easy to resist. Done. Life and death are indifferent, so if you don't agree, do it. 3 hours is enough for Chen Fei to do many things. A gentleman seeks revenge, sees the day and night. The next morning, the Chen family unexpectedly received invitation letters from the Yang and Luo families, stating that they had booked a banquet at the Xianman Tower in the evening and wanted to fulfill their previous gambling agreement. Divide half of the property of the Yang family to the Chen family. In the Chen family's conference hall, Niu Ben patted the table and stood up. Just as you killed his son, he invited you to dinner. Is this old kid sick? Even fools can see that this is a trap. Clan Chief Chen Kuei also nodded and said, "That's right, I can't go to this banquet." The eerie voice of Si Chang suddenly sounded, "I'm afraid whether or not I can go now will ultimately be a shame for my Chen family." You don't know yet, do you? This news had already spread throughout the city before it arrived at the Chen family. The Yang family spread news that the life and death of the martial arts competition in the arena are determined by fate, and they will not pursue Yang Zhao's death again. Tonight, they will fulfill their gambling agreement in a dignified manner. Yang Mao. At this moment, the Yang family has already set their attitude very high. If the Chen family doesn't go, the whole city will mock the Chen family for being childless. At that time, the Chen family will become the laughing stock of Tianhe city again. The elder hesitated for a moment in his eyes. Just as he was about to say something, Chen Fei was the first to say, "Go, why not go?" Feier. Chen Fei waved his hand and said, "Grandpa, there's no need to say much. People's cultivation goes against the sky and moves forward without progress. If they don't go, this obstacle will become a demon in their hearts." After speaking, he bowed and left the hall. The eldest elder had a worried expression on his face, while the fourth elder and the second elder had a look of schadenfreude in their eyes. Chen Fei naturally wants to go, even if the Yang family doesn't look for him, he will still go to the Yang family. Some grudges have been separated overnight, and it's already the limit. Chen Fei originally wanted the Yang family to live an extra half-month, but they were in a hurry to be reincarnated. In the blink of an eye, the sunset on the horizon has faded. Chen Fei left the Chen family mansion, and Niu Ben also went with Chen Fei. Chen Fei did not want Niu Ben to be involved in this struggle. After all, he represented the Ghost King mine. "Xiao Fei, this is what the general ordered. The general asked me to safely take you back." Chen Fei couldn't help but feel a warmth in his heart. As for the rest of the Chen family, the elder personally selects elite followers. The elder looked worried and whispered in Chen Fei's ear, "Feier, if there is danger later, don't worry about anything and just run away." As he spoke, he handed Chen Fei a pitch-black token. This is the Chen family's secret guard token. With this token, you can command the Chen family's secret guard, and Grandpa will give it to you. Chen Fei was taken aback for a moment. Was this explaining the situation in advance? "Grandpa, don't worry, the fragrant tower is an industry that never sleeps, and the Yang family wouldn't dare to do anything about it." The elder nodded, but still furrowed his brow. Along the way, passers-by looked sideways. Is that Chen Fei? Is he really going to the appointment? Alas, why is the Chen family so impulsive? As soon as they leave, the Chen family is finished. But courage is commendable. Su Su still squatted on Chen Fei's shoulder. "Can you really elevate to the Kaling realm?" Chen Fei asked softly. "Don't worry, even if you are defeated in the end, I can still bring you out." A group of ants, do you still want to kill a dragon? As soon as I arrived at Xiangmenlo, I saw Yang Jian, the old butler of the Yang family. "Old man, we're meeting again," Niu Ben snorted coldly. Yang Jian only made a gesture of invitation, but said in his heart, "I'll turn your stubborn cow into sauce beef in a moment." Tonight, the fragrant tower has cleared all guests. In the hall, there is only one round table. Yang Yi sat in the main seat, but did not see the head of the Luo family. Chen Fei, I didn't expect that if you really dared to come, it would make me admire you a bit. Niu Ben ignored it and found a seat to sit down, while the rest of the people took their seats one after another. The elder spoke up and said, Lord Yang, there are a large number of people. Regardless of past grievances, I also greatly admire him. As for the gambling agreement, it was just a joke. My Chen family doesn't want it. Make progress by retreating. Unexpectedly, Chen Fei took the words directly and said, Grandpa, I won that. I want it. Why not? He. Yang Yi sneered twice and said, Don't worry, you greedy child. After you die tonight, I will burn those industries to you. As soon as the words fell, the door slammed shut. At the same time, a beam of light rose up and enveloped the entire fragrant tower. It's a magic formation.